Okay. Well, good morning, or good evening, or good day, everyone. Thanks for joining our Cyber Future Summit, the fifth annual event, and we cannot be more thrilled to gather together, in spite of all that is going on around us. In the last year, which we'll go over shortly, I think we have seen a lot, and a lot is probably not enough to describe. But we had the determination to come together as a team again and share our work with you, share our thoughts with you, and also get to learn and collaborate with over 100 speakers that are lined up for the next 3 days. So this is going to be a very intense and really exciting journey for the next 2.5 days. We have got attendees and speakers from, I think, about the speakers from about 15 countries and attendees from probably 40 countries registered. I know times are different. If it were the regular times, Dave and Harold and I, Diana, Sean, Andrea, we would all be on stage in front of you and seeing you in person. We missed that, but we didn't want to miss the opportunity to connect with you, connect with our community, and get to share with you what you are doing. Well, this next couple of days, we've got a really interesting lineup. We'll get to that, but first, I wanted to kick off the summit by welcoming you all and give the chance for our leadership team to do the same. This year again has been very productive. With no travel, we have probably done much more than we could have done with travel. And not seeing you is a pain, but not sharing with would have been much deeper pain. So today, in this particular session, we are going to go over a little bit of retrospect of our last year. We are going to talk about how the summit is structured. It's fairly covers a fair range of topics, and you will see a range of views and learnings being shared. We'll provide a look back at the year from October 2019, when we last met many of you in person in Dallas, and outline the summit topics and structure kind of at a high level. And then I'll hand it over to the leadership team here to share their comments. We have had many formal and structural changes to the organization, so we'll share that. And then finally, I'll welcome our head of programs and partnership, Leah, to talk about the program logistics, so that you have it recorded here, and you can go back in case you were having trouble logging in. You can. Sorry, you cannot run around and come back to the backstage and check with one of us as we get off stage. But we've got a very interesting platform that we are doing this program on. It's called Socio, and you can actually get access to this both from the web platform as well as from the mobile app. If you want to engage, and I'm sure I'll encourage you to engage, you can get that from Apple App Store by searching for Cyber Future Foundation. The Google Play Store should also probably have been updated, and I say probably have been because this has been such a up and down journey in getting to do the summit for the first time digitally. I have realized that you don't take anything for granted. You have to be very agile and flexible and nimble, and think on your toes to make this happen. So again, welcome for those who are joining us today, and then for this hour as well as the rest of the day, and welcome to those who are going to be hearing this offline and on our YouTube channel. So let me take the next couple of minutes to just rehash our structure in terms of what we have done through the year. I'll little bit give a monthly summary. Let this also serve as a kind of broadcast of our annual report for the year, since we have had a significant amount of traction and work through the past year. As soon as we got off stage, in fact, October last year, we went into work, and this team has been very supportive of of what we have been doing and going around the world and spreading the whole message of building trust in the cyber community and also the cyberspace. In November, we announced our Global Commission on Cybersecurity Education and its derivative of Cyber Future Institute in India in our friend Pawan Duggal's summit last year. December was a personal month. We literally we hardly get time to spend with family, so got some time to take off. But that was in very hectic preparation towards the Davos summit, and a very successful summit that we had and dialogue that we had in Davos earlier this year. And what a time, right? Since we first met in January in Davos, up in the mountains, and then back home, the scenery changed in 3 months. But I'll come to that. The Davos event, we launched our cyber capacity program, cyber workforce development program, and along with all our leadership team and those delegates, we also had Mukta Pandit, our then very new partner in the journey. Mukta kicked off the SciJobs concept along with me, and we announced that we are going to double down on the recommendations from the Cybersecurity Education Commission, and we'll work on expanding the workforce. In February, I was in Riyadh with many of our friends at the Global Cybersecurity Summit and Forum, and we supported the G20 discussions that were there. And along with that, we went on to form a small group called Cyber 20, and this was the realization that global forums, especially at the highest levels, they have a side stream of cyber. This is becoming more and more a mainstream discussion, not just on the grassroots or at the enterprises that we're trying to protect, but also becoming more and more a decision makers and a policy makers topic of interest, and that is something that we wanted to support. So we created a quick team of 20 back in Riyadh over a dinner, and then that's how the responsiveness that we have shown over time, and that went on to organize a few meetings that also kind of leads on to our cyber capacity, and as I'll come and speak about cyber care package for small businesses, and also supporting it at the highest level. In March, as I think we just wrapped up the RSA conference and our meetings there, and came back home, and we really saw the COVID-19 hit real hard. Mid-March was lockdowns, and I don't think many of us want to look that far back, because the times passed so fast. 2020 is on its express way, but we had the responsibility and the commitment to go do something real quick, think on our feet, and we created a joint task force. Many of our friends here and as well as from the community joined. And our message was, how can we respond back? But not only respond back, we actually think about recovery and revival. Humanity is driven by hope, and that's what keeps us going. If we don't think about the recovery and the further revival, it will be very challenging for us to do what we're doing now, because it is all about the future. In March, as we put together this task force, we thought there was also a need for local community. We really didn't have any chapters, so to speak. We had local leaders who drove local community. So in early April, we launched the Society of Mentors. And I think that's a very important community for us to support and sponsor, both and personally as well as professionally, and even institutionally as organizations. Because this Society of Mentors is built around the concept of mentoring and coaching and caring for those around you. We cannot have a big impact on the cyber talent space or cyber innovation space or entrepreneurial space if we don't care for each other and look out for each other, and also help each other and support, bolster those young people who are looking to do more and get to learn about cybersecurity. They're not just going to jump into this. The career in cybersecurity is not defined, and I'll come to the CFF live sessions that we started in May, actually in late April, early May. We started the Cyber Future CFF live session, and every Tuesday lunch hour, I would get to one of our friends and discuss their journey in cybersecurity. And in doing so, what we have come and gathered a long way and gathered a lot of information and learnings that we have put out in our YouTube channel. Our first one I cannot forget. It was with our good friend George Feeney, and then quickly followed up by Paul Renz. Many of our friends who have been part of this journey have actually contributed every week. They would come online and share with us. I think that actually cascaded very well down into the community, and that's how we are able to get together. We pivoted very, very quickly. In a matter of 2 weeks, we were able to set up the CFF live session and get on with the program of the Cyber Future Society of Mentors. And I believe as we go and this global community gets together, we'll get to do more. In May, after we kicked off the live sessions, we thought that we really want to expand our CFF community, giving access and opportunity to young people. We started our internship program, which would actually had a warm start last year, if you remember, and we were with us in Dallas last year, and there was a cast of young people who were supported and led by Nick Dolansky and Spencer York, and I can go on with the names. So we wanted to give more opportunities. So we had our internship program start, and then we by end of May, early June, we got to look at what problems should we give these young people, the hard challenges that they need to learn and go from. And we found one problem that could actually connect the dots in terms of supply and demand for us. So in July, we started the small business cyber research. And from the June to July timeframe, it was the small businesses were literally struggling, and they were going online. They're also trying to survive. And when you think about survival of small businesses in physical world, that's a different thing. On the online world, where big enterprises are struggling to be safe and defend themselves, think about small businesses. They don't stand a chance. And so we took that at heart. We gave them a 3 months project to work on, and that came out with really great findings, and in fact connected us and reconnected us back with some of our really good friends who you will see and hear from in this summit. In August, we started our global roundtables, and that was in fact kicked off with India. And then in 2 weeks' time, we followed up with Canada in September. These two were very eye-opening. We always knew we had great friends and great community in those two countries, and in fact, the rest of the world. But if you think about it, there is a tremendous amount of energy in all across the world who want to contribute and to connect and to learn from each other and build this trusted collaboration platform that Cyber Future Foundation represents and stay connected. So those two were actually great learnings and led to a lot of inputs that you would see here. And both of the countries, along with other global partners, are going to be present in this. In September, we had our findings from our summit and our project that we did over the 3 months, and we came out with this concept of cyber care package that we shared with the community. We will go into depth into cyber care package later this afternoon. There are 2 pillars, as you know. There is and then we have talked about it coming to the summit. One is the supply side and the other the demand side. And as I shared, I'll reemphasize that we had a very laser focused attention on the supply side with cyber capacity and automation, but the demand really took a nosedive with COVID, and we had to find out where do the people and the young people and also those people that are interested in cyber, we've got them energized in the last 3 to 5 years. How do we keep them engaged? Will they go find something else to do? Will they leave this journey and think that this is not the place to be or a career they want to have? It is hard, and the path in front of us is not very clear. But I think that is the challenge for us as a leader to go and shape this path ahead of us. So as we put together the cyber care package, I think we were in a very good shape, and the concept will be laid out today, later in the afternoon. In October, we did the board announcements, and I'll come to that. and we also announced that we are going to really have the summit, not in our usual time. First week of October is when we welcome the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Well, it doesn't really hurt, and also I think is a great way to conclude the month. So this week and the next couple of days, we're going to celebrate what we have kind of shared and achieved, and our work in protecting the cyber economy from the industry standpoint as we close this Cyber Awareness Month, but only to start something even bigger and better. So with this, let me welcome the leaders that have joined us from the CFF Global Board Advisory Committee. Again, this is very challenging times. Everybody's trying to struggle between job and this professional or personal commitments have. So we have very fortunate to get our friends into this. Let me just quickly announce, we have already done so online, but it gives me great pleasure to welcome three of our really great friends formally into the board for 2021. And as we go in the next couple of months, we're going to announce more. So we have a very strong team that I can, I'm really proud of. We have worked together for a long time, but also be working with, with the family. So Sean is not able to join us this morning, but Sean continues with us for another year. Again, we want to follow all procedures. He just took a new job at Berkeley's International as their Chief Information Security Officer. We really congratulate Sean, and we hope to work with him for many years to come, but another year on the board. We also welcome Andreas. We confirmed her in late September. So, what a great friendship and camaraderie we have over time. We have been on stage many times together, but more so together on the phone and emails to bring to fruition what we see today. So thank you, Andrea, and welcome to Cyber Future Foundation's board. Next, I welcome Diana. Diana has been a great supporter for very many long. I would say, in fact, she's been an inspiration before being a supporter, right? So we found Diana through our search for global cybersecurity commission, education commission, and she led the joint task force at that time. I think 4 or 5 years back when we were actually going through this. Work is really influenced us. So thank you, Diana, for joining us, and we look forward to continuing our work together. I would also like to welcome Leah for joining us as the head of programs and partners. Very fresh connection, but you can imagine what she has done in the last few months with us and last few weeks, especially intense support. So thank you, Leah, and welcome to the team. We also have Catherine. She'll join us later in the day, and she's also going to host 2 programs for us. And you'd see the energy that she brings. She's already fired up the whole internet for us, but especially as the leader for North America's ecosystem, I think we couldn't have any better person. So Catherine, and then I thank Kalol for joining us and contributing as the head of digital innovation and a great volunteer. You won't probably, I can't imagine how hard he works in our team at in my day job at UI, but still finds time to help this great community. And then I would have also welcomed Spencer and Nick as our analysts at supporting roles. Both of them have been part of CFF for the last year and a half, and a really great team. So you see everyone that's involved backstage. There are many more, and you will see them through the entire day. But these are the folks that have made what we are today possible. So with that, I would hand the mic over virtually to my good friend Dave, and then Dave to Harold, so that you get the opportunity to welcome our friends here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. It's always difficult coming after you and saying anything, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're honored and glad that you are here with us. Also like to give a hearty welcome to Diana and Andrea, and I personally look so forward to working with you. You're going to be a tremendous asset to this team as we drive it forward. I think, Val, you summed it up the best, and we've had a very busy year. We've come a long way. This 5th summit is nothing short of another dynamic summit with tremendous content. With tremendous content comes dynamic speakers. And I think, and I'm confident that, and I'm very thankful for all the speakers that we will be hearing from for the next 2.5 days. It'll be rich, it'll be educational, it'll be inspirational. I think the program, as we set forward, is going to be fantastic. This year, we come forward with a little bit of more of an international flair, which I think in these times and in what we're all trying to do in further collaboration of our cyber duties, I think that's extraordinarily important and will certainly be impactful as we move forward in the next couple of days. So in advance, thank you to all of the speakers that are expanding your great intellect and knowledge and furthering the content that will be provided in the next couple of 2.5 days or so. We are worked hard in the past year, as you can tell from what Val indicated, as to all the different programs that we have embarked on. And another thing that we really focused in on was our infrastructure and attempts to take not only the experience that we've learned over the last 5 years and drive it into what we're doing today, but really expanding to look forward to the next 5 to 10 years and having a program and a mission set forward so that we can really move this program to the next dimension. And I think by adding the folks, which we did on the board and as advisors, will certainly bring us to that next level. So to all the folks that are participating in the next couple of days or in the recorded sessions, thank you. Thank you for being here. We hope that as we roll out this membership concept that you will support and be part of this great mission with the Cyber Future Foundation. We look forward to the next 5 years and what it brings to us. So with that, one final welcome remark in that we are really looking forward to the next couple of days, and certainly we look forward to your feedback. Have a great summit. Enjoy the content and the speakers. And Harold, I will turn it over to you, my friend.
All right, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Val. First of all, I'm in a cafe. I had teenage girls in the house, so I don't know if Andrea or Diane, if you know that I got married about a month ago, so I inherited 3 teenagers, two girls and a boy. Anyway, first of all, yeah, this is just a momentous occasion. Getting to speak to Andrea, Diana, Sean. I know Sean's not here, so here we are 5 years down the road. 5.5 years from sitting in a cafe, kind of like this, sketching out an idea. Didn't even know where the idea was going. Don't even really remember where it's from. Except we were talking about cyber peace and cyber war. So here we are. So much has happened. So much. I think impact in the global cybersecurity field, and we all, Val, Dave, and I, it was all not only unanimous but absolutely enthusiastic and to welcome some new people onto our board, not just to share the which is certainly we look forward to, but to bring in new ideas to help us with providing direction and providing guidance to this thing that has been created. And and we all know that we all just have to just give tremendous props to Val for all the tireless effort that he has put into this for so many years. Been a privilege and a pleasure to be on this journey with Val and Dave. And matter of fact, I think I'm going to post. I found some pictures of us several years ago in D.C. I think when Dave was the special agent in charge of Homeland Security here in North Texas. So it just thinking about how many go back. When I first met Andrea and when I first met Diana, you instantly felt like sisters to me, as Val and Dave have always felt like brothers to me. So just welcome. And then Sean, of course, just another great guy. So there's a tremendous amount of work and initiatives that have been laid down this year. It's unbelievable that in all this pandemic and the lockdown and everyone's shifting focuses, that so much could be done. And who would have known, that instantly our infrastructure, and I speak metaphorically, but that our infrastructure would be blown up. That from the centralized office buildings, office parks, to scattered to neighborhoods and the suburb. That here we are, and I think that our mission is even more. It's even more critical than it was before, and with the workforce development programs that we're looking at, with the I think that was just move to bring in the mentors, the master mentors, very, very well received, and I had to miss a few of them. I've kind of had some other things added to my calendar here in the last month or so. So some of these things I've caught by recording, but I just want to echo what Val and Dave have said. Welcome our new board members, and I'm just excited and very enthusiastic about the future of the Cyber Future Foundation, the Cyber Future Institute. We have some really interesting plans that I don't know if they discuss them publicly or not, but some interesting possibilities, I'll say, with the International Center for Cyber Arbitration and Mediation. So I'm excited about all of this. I'm excited about all of you. So I love you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, brothers.
Back to you,
Dave
Val.
and Harold. Yes, of course, ready here. Well, I really can't wait to hand it over to Andrea and Diana to hear hear your thoughts, but especially what you want us to do. Right? We have discussed many dreams and many possibilities, but I think the future is ours to seize, and also to share and to take it forward for the younger generation. So Andrea, welcome again from all of us, and hand it over to you for your opening remarks.
Well, thank you so much. It's an incredible pleasure and privilege to be amongst you. Diana, we became sisters earlier this year in Davos, not even knowing we were going to get on the board together. So it's really wonderful that we are. And I want to just thank Val and Harold and Dave for their incredible generosity of spirit. And what you've created here is really something special, I think. And, my involvement has been for 3 or 4 years now, I guess 3 years probably. I remember I was fortuitously speaking at an NACD event in Dallas about 3-4 years ago, and Val came up and gave me his card, and that's how this started. And the next thing I know, I was part of the team in Davos a year and a half ago, 2 years ago almost, And then this year, it all seems like it was a decade ago, pretty much, given everything that's happened this year. But, you know, where I come from is sort of a tribute to CFF, to include people like me in this organization and in the leadership, because I'm not a technologist, I'm not a cyber expert, I'm not an InfoSec person, but I'm someone who's been involved with cyber issues for over 10 years now as a, what is it, the right side of the brain or the left side of the brain, the part that thinks about qualitative things, not necessarily quantitative and engineering types things, but my background is more looking at these issues from a conceptual standpoint, from a practical standpoint. And so I focused a lot of my cyber activity on how do organizations build internal resilience, to be resilient when the cyber issue comes along. And so it's about risk management, about leadership, about culture, and things like that. And for me, cyber is one of the less than a handful existential both risks and opportunities of our time. And what CFF is doing is really looking at cyber as something that we need to build together, the cyber future, cyber trust, cyber peace, because the downside and the risk is very big. And so what I've really admired about what CFF has done over the last very few years, you've only been around for 5 years, and we're just getting started with some of the bigger stuff, is that there's a crossroads that we have right now, and we're going to take the right road. We're not going to go down the road of giving up and, you know, letting the cyber warriors out there beat this situation. It's going to be more about building cyber collaboration, cyber community. And I really feel that that's, what attracted me so much to what you guys are doing. It's just, we need this. And so the international aspect of it, the community aspect of it, the fact that you're inclusive, in a really deliberate way across the world and within the US. And it's all about the singular focus of a safer cyber future. So for me, it's an honor, a privilege. I'm absolutely thrilled, and I'm humbled. And I really look forward to rolling up the sleeves, both virtually and in person one day, and having those coffees and those drinks again in person. And thank you for the honor of choosing me to be part of the board.
Thank you, Andrea. It's great to have you. And for those who are joining us through the rest of the program, tomorrow and the day after, we'll hear from Andrea again on day 3. She'll be on the risk and resiliency hour, along with our very good friend Maya Bant, and also will be joined later by others in the panel during that hour. So thank you again, and look forward to hearing from you further. Well, with that, let's move on to Diana. Diana, as I mentioned, you've been an inspiration before you got really engaged, and your work has already been, used by us. And in the last few short, I'd say 1.5 years or so that we have been working together, I think it's been tremendously impacted the work that we do. But also, I think there's a huge potential for the entire, your career's impact to be on the next generation for cyber capacity building. So again, welcome, and also, please share your thoughts.
Thank you. Well, I echo everything that Andrea said. First, thank you, Val, Harold, Dave. I was shocked when I got the email saying that you wanted me to join the board, because I have been so impressed by the work that you've done over the last year, and to join with Andrea is just more than a dream come true. It wasn't even something that I was thinking about, but I'm really overjoyed to be with you. From the moment that I became aware of the Cyber Future Foundation and the work that you were doing, I knew that it was something special. Anybody who knows me knows that my entire career has been spent talking about 2 things. One is a holistic approach to building cyber capacity, and 2 is breaking down what I consider to be artificial barriers between silos of government and industry and academia, and really thinking about this together. And that's what the Cyber Future Foundation represents. It's a collaboration of individuals who truly care about the future of cyberspace and how we can make society a better place and secure the world for ourselves and for the future generations. And it is about listening to other points of view, because there is a recognition that those points of view collectively will help us get to where we need to be. And I still remember that very first meeting when I was the lone academic in the room, and which is not an unusual place for me to be. But you have different reactions. Sometimes people look at you and say, oh boy, what is this person going to say? And they have this narrow view, but that wasn't the case. It was, let's all benefit from the experience and the perspective of every individual in the room, and think about how we can co-create a more secure future. And that first experience has simply continued throughout every single engagement. I am very excited about the opportunity that we have to shape the future global capacity of the cybersecurity workforce. Whether we're talking about individuals who will be rolling up their sleeves in the technical areas, or we're talking about people who will contribute in the policy or other spaces in the cyber workforce, or we're talking about the general citizenry with whom I believe is also a part of the cybersecurity workforce. We have an opportunity to shape their collective understanding and ability to secure themselves and to secure the systems that we are all so dependent upon. 2020 has been an interesting year. Frankly, it started off in Davos, right? And we were so excited, and we were really pushing to do new things and to affect new individuals and to make change. And then we all came home, and the world seemed to stop. But it's always darkest before the dawn, and it has been quite dark, and that gives me tremendous hope for what we will be able to achieve as we move forward into the future. And those who are able to take advantage of that dawn are those who sit in the dark and work together to build the foundation and the infrastructure. And one of the things that I hope the audience really heard when Val, you were giving your introduction, was the work that you all have been doing to really strengthen the infrastructure of the Cyber Future Foundation during this period, because that work is what is going to allow us to really make the kind of impact that no one has ever seen before. And so I am just thrilled to be a part of it. The next few days are going to be remarkably inspiring and informative, and I hope that individuals will listen to us as much as they are able, and then go back and watch us on YouTube over and over and over again, and be ready to roll up their sleeves and work with us. So with that, thank you again for allowing me to be a part of your journey in this way. I was always going to be a part of it. I always kind of figure out how to wiggle in, but thank you for not making me do that. And I look forward to working with all of you.
Excellent. Thank you. So I think that's very moving, Diana and Andrea. I think with your active support, we are now, we have been a team. Now we are even a closer knit team to get this done. So let's get on with the job. I think we got a really great couple of days ahead of us. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to just do a quick recap of our logistics a little bit, so that I think there are questions coming in for those that are dialed in. If you can share with your friends where to go register. In fact, it's a two-step process. So let me welcome Leah. She's going to walk us through that. Two-step process. Over to Leah. Let me welcome Leah. She's going to walk us through that. Over to Leah. Let me welcome Leah. She's going to walk us through that.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
We have a feedback loop.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
We have a feedback loop.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
We have a feedback loop.
Thank you. So thank you all for attending our summit this week. Hopefully you all have been able to log in. Thank you all for attending our summit this week. Hopefully you all have been able to log in.
I think so this is a good start, because the next hour probably is going to be joining from both sides. So this is we are getting to kick the tires. Okay.
So I
think
was
you are joined
reading
as an
in
attendee and
the
as a
instructions that if
so we
you
gotta,
use
stop one of
earbuds,
this.
it will help with the feedback.
This is going to be funny on the stage. Not funny when you are the one speaking.
Did we lose Leah?
While Leah is trying to join in back again, I think it's worth mentioning that we are assembled here together, social distanced, of course, as much space as we can get between us, and we have. So, ready? Yeah.
I'm going to be going off camera here in a minute, so you don't have to watch me eating my huevos rancheros.
We know what's your favorite, brother.
Yummy.
Apologies for the technical difficulties, folks, but it's good that we're working out these kinks now before we get started. So
Yeah.
please bear with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And went out. Okay, now we'll.
Yes. And so hopefully you all can hear me now.
Yes.
Great. So I think we now, just a few housekeeping items as you've all been able to log in and access the event. Make sure that you do log in or sign up for the virtual platform Socio. And if you don't have the link or if you have any issues accessing it, please do contact CFF Programs at cyberfuturefoundation.org. Once you're in the platform, make sure that you navigate to the left where you will find the agenda, information about speakers, a networking lobby where you can chat with your peers throughout the summit, learn about our sponsors. So special thanks to Elasticsearch, 7 Tunnels, AirGap Networks, Black Swan Cybersecurity, and Software Partners, as well as check out any announcements that we will be publishing throughout the summit. And if you'd like to share any takeaways and engage on social media channels, you can use the event hashtag CFS2020. Again, if you do have any questions or issues throughout the summit, logistically and with the platform, reach out to the CFF programs at cyberfuturefoundation.org, and we will be able to assist you.
All right. Yes. So we did a dry run of the next session. I think Leah is going to be speaking. So along with our friend Mukta and Katie. Well, so the next 15 minutes, let me give a little bit of recap of the summit itself, and what we have here for the next 2.5 days is a combination of three things. One, it's about specific areas that we have initiatives currently going on, and that would be primarily around cyber capacity building and small business cybersecurity that we started off, and we're kind of ramping up. So there will be at least 4 sessions I can think of that where we have totally focused on those. One is a 2-hour roundtable, and the other one, the second track or set of tracks is going to be around specific sectors, and we have clubbed them mostly into the critical infrastructure sector because we have to choose where we put our focus in, and we're going to go through every day a significant amount of our discussion will be around the critical infrastructure and its combination with the others. You will see really interesting discussion there, and when we go through to the premise of each of these, we'll outline that. The third, we'll see a global engagement from some of our country level partners, and you'd see that in over the 3 days, and that would conclude up in a global cyber hour on Friday morning for us, and in fact very late night for many of our friends from Australia. But it will be a very interesting kind of open call to understand the concept of future for cyber. Today we are going to go through a range of sessions. The way we have distributed this is all over. Every hour we have a session, and that session is or a particular theme, and that particular theme is going to address a range of issues within that particular theme, and also be supported by speakers both in capacity as a executive statement, as well as roundtable and panels. So they're all self-contained hours. So if you're joining us for a particular hour, I would encourage you to be present for the entire hour so that you get to see the whole experience for that particular topic. We'll start today with the Cyber Capacity and Talent Expansion Program. This is in fact one of the most important aspects of our programs that each of our board members and advisors, as well as our partners have invested in, and we are really thrilled to make the exciting announcement of our partnership with SAFL to support the DOL's U.S. Department of Labor Cyber Capacity and Cyber Apprenticeship Program. So Mukta, Katie, and Leah will walk us through that, and then we'll be joined by others in a panel and roundtable fashion. That is the 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock hour for those who are following this calendar on the Central Time, and hopefully translate that to your regional hours. I know you're joining from different sources and regions. The next we'll move on to the cyber capital of the world. We'll talk to or learn from our friends from Israel the innovation and security as it is required and needed during the time of the hour. It will be very intense, and I don't want you to even leave that session for a moment. It's going to be an executive statement from a leader in INCD, Israel's National Cybersecurity Directorate, followed by a quick power panel talk led by our good friend Yaniv Harel, and he's going to curate the entire session, and then 3 showcases. So you can imagine in an hour you can achieve and learn a lot, and hopefully that will give you at least an indication of the engagement that we have from a global standpoint, and also opportunities to connect with them. Then we'll move on to our friends in UK who have actually had a great level of engagement and collaboration within the country. You would have probably seen UK and US announcing a lot of programs together and fighting cybercrime. And we wanted to get a sense of their ecosystem and the talent development. you will have a range of speakers from there, and they will walk us through the different challenges that they had to deal with, especially because of COVID, but also how can those to be turned into opportunities that we can serve the organization and the world and the cyber community better. At the 12 p.m. hour at noon Central, we're going to have a 2-hour kind of roundtable for small businesses. And if you think about all the issues that are going on right now, everyone, including political leaders and even economic administration, everything, everyone is really watching the small business sector very, very closely. And as I mentioned, they're struggling for survival. I think that's a no-brainer. However, they're also moving to the cyberspace actively and proactively. And small businesses at large seems to be, or apparently, an unorganized community, but our research has shown it otherwise, that they're very closely knit, and you have to be regionally focused to support small businesses. So we have dedicated 2 hours of today's agenda to support the cause of engaging with 1 million cybers or small businesses. And you will hear, among others, our good friend and partner Kristen Todd would come online to share with her the dream of getting or starting off with 1 million cyber small businesses cyber awareness and training. And we'll be joined by representatives from 3 different regions, from Dallas, from San Antonio, and from San Francisco, and also people chiming from New York about the concept of cyber care package. And that is going to be a voice of customer, so to speak, an hour, so that we learn from those that are directly engaged with them. Then at 2 o'clock, we will move on to learn more about how can we address the menace and threat of ransomware. This is not new, my friends. And the last almost 3 to 4 years, there has been an aggressive increase in the ransomware situation, and it is not helping anyone. It has never helped anyone. It is not even, and I don't think and see us going in the right direction unless we curb this menace. And that hour will be led by our good friend Leah. She's going to step away from kind of coordinating this program to actually taking the speaker and moderator spot, and will curate that program. At 3 o'clock Central Time, we're going to move into a very interesting mix, I would say. And interesting, the reason I say that is because when I put these 2 teams together, they're like, Val, what were you thinking, right? There is a combination of critical infrastructure security leaders and critical infrastructure leaders. I would say security comes as part of it, and then pure play cloud leaders. And some of you have followed our journey in the past. We are very much engaged in the whole cloud security journey over the last decade or more, and founded this team. In fact, founded the Cloud Security Alliance of North Texas, and which has been the longest running chapter of Cloud Security Alliance Global. I was part of the original team, and still very well connected with them. And when I brought these 2 teams together, I wanted them to connect live in public about the issues and challenges that they're dealing with individually. And these are the connections that we really want to make and promote. So you will hear our good friend Vishwas Manral, who got put in the hot seat, I would say, at a very last moment, to curate that panel and moderate that hour. It's a full hour of debate and discussion about what are the different issues and how is critical infrastructure related to cloud. And may I remind you that today was also the U.S. congressional hearing of the social media or the platform executives who are going to present their thoughts about the way they are restricting or constraining the different outlets in social media. So cloud, both as an outlet, as a platform, and also a part of the critical infrastructure, maybe the critical infrastructure itself now. So that is going to be put into debate and discussion at the 3 o'clock hour. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy that. Then at 4 o'clock Central Time, we're going to have Australia come on live. In fact, I don't know if Peter sleeps in the night. Peter Dean's our good friend from Australia, who leads in his venture and one of the pioneers of cyber risk and risk management, and came up with the whole concept of 52 risk framework, is going to join us. And Peter is going to walk us through the journey of risk management and getting cyber engaged in that journey of risk management through that hour. So I think we have a fascinating day ahead of us. Let me give you a quick rundown of recap of the day 2 and day 3, and then we already have our speakers for the next session ready. And if you're wanting to jump from here to there, you should be able to see that session going live in about 5 minutes. They're ready in the backstage or the virtual backstage. So that and then before we welcome them, about day 2. Day 2, we're going to start with cyber ecosystem in India. As I mentioned, that right after our summit, for this is in fact back-to-back 2 or 3 years now that we have been supporting the cyber ecosystem development in India. In our cyber executive roundtable in August, we had Lieutenant General Pant join from the National Cybersecurity as a National Cybersecurity Coordinator join, and with all of the discussions we have had and the excitement that's in the Indian cyber community, I think we can't wait to jump in. It will be a discussion with Dr. Sanjay Bahal, who's going to join us this time, along with our friend Pawan, who leads much of our work in India, and Burgess Cooper, and supported by Dr. Durga Prasad Dubey from Reliance, and the Chief Information Security Officer there, also a career leader in cybersecurity. That will be followed by a debate and discussion on the significance of cyber peace. In fact, before we got on stage to have this debate, or we're getting on stage, we already had the debate on over emails and phone calls to see how to capture this big topic in one small area. And cyber peace, my friends, is one of my personal topics that I'm really concerned about, and that's how we started. We started Cyber Peace Alliance. Well, from that, we'll spend an hour, and we'll be joined by a really illustrious team of leaders who are going to talk about cyber peace. And then we move on to cyber law considerations. Our good friend Bob Seaman has been very supportive of our work and has actually expanded this network globally, starting in Canada and then internationally through his many connections. And he's going to talk about and lead the discussion about cyber law, arbitration, and judicial processes. It will also include worth special mention Linda Klein, who I had the good fortune to speak with on a panel together back in I think just a month back with on the Horasis meeting that our friend Frank Jürgen Richter put together. Extraordinary meeting. In fact, it's called such extraordinary meeting, and we'll have her also on that. Then we'll move on to an hour that will bifurcate into 2 breakouts, and that's the only time when we're actually having 2 live sessions in parallel. One is about privacy considerations. That is at 11 o'clock Central Time. If you're tuning in that, please keep in mind it's 11 Central. And in parallel, we'll have the critical infrastructure security panel all together. A great, this is where we will leave you to decide which one you want to go, because each of them are really, really serious, and they are going to converge back into our cyber ecosystem in Canada hour. Another fascinating hour. We have done an executive roundtable in Canada, and that will be followed by a CEO discussion hour at 2 o'clock tomorrow, and then finally followed by a higher ed panel that will be led by George Feeney. So you don't see that in this in the program yet, but please tune in. At 3 o'clock, we'll have emerging tech, innovation, entrepreneurship. This could be a summit in itself, but we have so much of entrepreneurship and innovation going on across the board. I think we needed to give a full hour to that, and that will be led by our good friend Dave Willocks. Then at 4 o'clock tomorrow Central, we have cybersecurity in higher education sector, led by George Feeney. Please don't miss it. It's going to be a fascinating discussion. The third day will be Global Cyber Hour Roundtable, this 8 o'clock hour Central. Mark your calendar for that. That's going to be a fascinating open forum and discussion about what does the future of cyber look globally for all of us. Hope, humility, and humanity is what we stand for, and we want to make sure that we reinforce that idea amongst us. Then we'll move on to at 9 o'clock on third party and supply chain security. As you can imagine, the critical supply infrastructure is a big deal for us, and that is where we're going to discuss the issues and challenges of supply chain and third party security. And our friend Dave is going to run us through that. Then we pivot to the real challenge of risk and resiliency. Managing risk over this time has been challenging, to say the least. And our friend Maya and Andy are going to run us through this. And we'll conclude at the 11 o'clock hour and Central Time with considerations for the future of cyber and our role in it. We'll look at 2025. So we have arrived at the hour, 9 o'clock Central. Let's welcome to the stage next our friend Mukta, Katie. We'll have Leah join us. I'm going to drop out of here, and I'll see you in the next session. If you are joining us live, please go over to your agenda, and you'd see the links to join live from there. So look to see you, engage with you in the next session. 9 o'clock hour, cyber capacity building, and great announcements coming up. So thank you, and see you in the next session.